Former White House counsel Pat Cipollone will testify before the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riots tomorrow.
That's right. However, there will be limits on what Cipollone will talk about. Cipollone will sit down for a closed-door videotaped interview. The January 6th committee subpoenaed him shortly after former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified last week. She claimed Cipollone said he and other White House officials, including former President Trump, could, quote, get charged with every crime imaginable if they traveled to the Capitol on January 6th. Joining us now for more on all of this is CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, welcome. Great to see you. So, as we mentioned earlier, Cipollone's closed-door testimony will not be entirely unfettered. What, if anything, do we know about the constraints being imposed?
Hey, Tanya and Elaine. Obviously, he was White House counsel, so there's going to be some degree of attorney-client privilege that he could invoke. But it's worth underscoring, he was the White House counsel, not the president's personal attorney, which should liberate him to answer some questions. We brought this concern to Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, a member of the January 6th committee, to ask her attorney-client privilege. Here's what she had to say.
There can be an assertion of attorney-client privilege, but remember, he represents the presidency, not Donald Trump, the man. And as the Judge Carter in California pointed out in his evidentiary ruling on the Eastman case, if the advice involved crime or fraud, the privilege does not exist.
Let's put the privilege issues aside. This committee has been leaning on Cipollone to come forward for weeks, and they have finally got him tomorrow. We're told some of the members will appear virtually to question him personally. Some will likely be there in person as well.
So, Scott, is it clear what is the committee hoping to achieve tomorrow despite these testimony limitations?
They think Pat Cipollone has the keys to the kingdom, that he has answers nobody else can have, at least nobody who would reasonably think of going in front of this committee for a deposition. He was there on January 6th during key moments. At least he had access to the principals during key moments on January 6th. And just based off of what Cassidy Hutchinson testified to last week, they want to know more about that warning he issued, according to Hutchinson, that they'd be charged with every crime imaginable if Donald Trump went to the Capitol January 6th. They'll certainly consider pressing him on whether he gave that advice directly to Donald Trump and whether Donald Trump defied that advice and sought to go to the Capitol anyway. That's just one of the key issues they're likely to ask about tomorrow.
And so, Scott, how might the January 6th hearings impact the prosecutions of the defendants charged in the attack?
It's possible they do impact the higher profile cases, and we are hearing that argument from the defendants themselves. Let's talk about Stewart Rhodes and Steve Bannon, two of the more famous names among the 800 or so people charged in January 6th related or contempt of Congress cases. First of all, Rhodes, the founder of the Oath Keepers, he faces the highest level charge of anybody, seditious conspiracy. He and his defense lawyer tell CBS News they're going to try to push back his fall 2022 trial, citing the attention he's been given in the January 6th committee hearings. And we know the Tuesday hearing, next week's hearing, will focus primarily on far-right groups, including the Oath Keepers, the group founded by Stewart Rhodes. We'll see what a judge says to those requests. Now, Steve Bannon, who, of course, is charged with contempt of Congress for defying the subpoenas of the January 6th committee. He's set to go on trial this month, in late July, and he's asking for his trial to be delayed, citing the notoriety he's getting from the January 6th committee public hearings. A judge has yet to bite on these requests from these high-profile defendants, but if one does, it could be a dam breaking, Elaine and Tanya. Many other defendants will come forward with the same request to push back their day in court and their day before justice.
All right, but in the short term here, looking forward to hearing what Pat Cipollone has to say. Scott MacFarlane in Washington for us. Scott, thank you.